Okay, we're back. It's episode 3, the Third and Thirsty podcast. We've got 2 episodes published, up and going now. I want to thank anybody that is listening to our podcast here, watching on YouTube, sharing with a friend, liking the stuff on Instagram, anything that's going to keep us rolling here. Really appreciate it. What we're going to go into today, got a couple different things we're going to talk about, keep us busy here during the off season. We're going to start with the over-unders that came out about a week ago. We'll go over each team's, see if they're fair, see if hypothetically we didn't live in California and we were allowed to use our free will and what we wanted to like to use our money on and gamble, what we would be doing with that money. After that, we'll go into our most embarrassing moment as a fan related to the AFC West over the last couple decades or so. I think we all came up with some pretty good ones. And then we'll finish off. We're going to do a draft, and we're going to draft. Each of us is going to draft a worst team possible, as if we were drafting a team that's going to go into the season hoping to lose every single game and get the first overall pick. We're going to do offense today, and we're just going to do skill players. Keep it simple. We'll do quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. And then we got to pair it up with the head coach, too. So we'll see which one of us could come up with the crappiest team. If Edgar just sticks with all Raiders, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, you beat me to that one, man.
Sadly but true.
So we'll get into the over-unders here that just came out about a week ago. Let's see. You guys have started off the last couple of weeks, so I'm just going to go ahead and kick it off with the Broncos this week. Looking here, looks like their over/under is 9.5. 4-game difference from their over/under last year, which was 5.5. They did come up with 10 wins last year, and I've been saying all offseason I expect them to be better. So I'm going to feel pretty confident in, again, hypothetically, not actually doing it. I don't gamble illegally. Putting money on the over for that. The Broncos' schedule, of course, isn't out yet, but their opponents obviously going to have the AFC West.
And you guys were third place, so
we were third place.
So that will bring in all the third place teams.
Yeah, that helps. It certainly helps with the schedule. Not quite like getting a 4th place schedule, but it definitely does help. Starting with the division, get the Chiefs twice, Chargers twice, Raiders twice. Sure hope they don't get swept by the Chargers again next year. Definitely sweeping the Raiders. I don't even think that's a question anymore.
You better hope so, because
I still got to catch up to you on all of our bets.
Yeah.
I finally won one of our first bets last year.
I could have swore your wife was going to fucking kill me. Stop betting him.
Yeah, we did $50 a game and then $50 for best record the last 5 seasons.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I've just been donating to Edgar's wallet up until last year. Yeah, I mean, Broncos with the Chiefs too. I mean, they're not nearly as scary as they used to be. Then we got, let's see, at home, the Jags, Titans, Cowboys, Giants. Those are all certainly winnable games. Bengals and Packers will be a little bit more difficult for sure. Away, the Texans beatable, Colts definitely beatable. Eagles, Commanders, those are going to be real tough games.
Yeah, that's a big game. Bose versus Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, that's for sure going to be a primetime game. I can imagine it's not. So it'll either be Sunday or Monday night for sure.
Yeah.
And then they got the Jets too. So
that's a crapshoot. Jets.
Your turn then.
No, I'm saying the Jets.
The Jets a crapshoot with the Broncos?
No, I'm saying the Jets are horrible, so that should be an easy win.
Oh, okay. I don't think you understand what crapshoot means. I don't think that word means what you think it means. So yeah, when we're going through this list, finding 10 wins I think is pretty dang easy. Again, I hopefully don't look like a fool here in a couple of months saying something like that, but very confident the Broncos could win 10 games next year. So we'll go over to let's say Edgar. Raiders. Their over under
I
is
think
six and a
six and a
half.
half. Honestly, as of where we stand right now, I'm not gonna say over. I feel like it's gonna be my hope is 6 wins overall, but is that considered over? Or?
No, that's still under.
It's still
Yeah,
an under.
still
Yeah.
under. So yeah, I think with the players that they picked up so far, they haven't really like. I mean, they'll definitely win more games than 4, but more than 6, I don't know. I mean, we do have a pretty easy schedule. We do play last place from the other teams, but yeah, I don't know yet. It's maybe after the draft, maybe it'll change a little bit, but I still think we might be under.
Yeah, adding 3 wins to a total after one season is not going to be easy. That doesn't happen very often, especially when you have Geno Smith as your quarterback.
I feel like that's the reason why we might win a couple games, just because our quarterback play was really bad last year.
It is going to be a big improvement.
Yeah, but is it a new system that he's coming into? Because Pete Carroll's is his head coach, who he's had before, but that he's a defensive coach. So
But I mean, we do it like I'm confident in Chip Kelly. Honestly, he's a pretty good head coach. I mean, he's a pretty good offensive coordinator. I mean, he did win. He did help the Ohio. Was it yeah, Ohio, right? Win the championship. Ohio State.
Couldn't tell you. Not a college guy. Chip Kelly, no, he was with Oregon or something. Right?
No, I mean he was the head coach for Oregon for a minute, but last year he was the offensive coordinator for.
Oh, was he with?
yeah, I
with
think he
Ohio
was with
State.
Ohio State. He might have been.
And
Yeah,
they beat. Who did they end up beating?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. That's right.
I got that one.
So I do think that Chip Kelly's gonna. I think Geno Smith fits Chip Kelly's offense. We just have to wait and see. I still think the offensive line needs a little bit of help. So,
you guys don't really have a running back.
I mean, no, we don't, but I do think we will be getting one in the draft.
Yeah.
Especially Ohio State does have 2 running backs going into the draft this year. So, worst case scenario, I'm pretty sure Chip Kelly is going to be trying to pick on one of the 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see what Brock Bauer. Maybe he'll help us out.
Yeah. I mean, he did pretty much everything he could last year.
With, like you said, no quarterback play.
No quarterback. And he was the most targeted player. So hopefully we get more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd go on the under there too. What about you?
Yeah, same. I don't see them winning more than 6 games.
Oh, I just don't see it. I didn't ask you guys about the Broncos. Gun to your head, biases aside, 10 or 9.5. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I think you guys are going over.
Yeah.
I mean, that defense is definitely going to keep you guys in games.
Yeah, that's a tough one. 9.5. That's pretty accurate.
They're usually pretty spot on.
Yeah.
They don't make it easy.
Like you said, the division games, even though the Raiders suck, division games are always tough.
Yeah, that's true.
They always play each other tough. It's always close games. So I mean, like I said, 9 wins. I'd take the over for 10 wins on that.
Yep, I think we're all in agreement the Broncos are going to kick ass next year.
They might
They might get their ass kicked, but they might beat some shitty teams along the way.
Well, they'll have to beat the shitty teams. They took care of business last year with teams that were worse than them. And with their defense and hopefully with a couple of extra weapons on offense, they'll beat some teams that they shouldn't beat. Obviously, going into a game with the Eagles, you have to pick the Eagles, but maybe they pull something off. Same thing with the Commanders. Bengals at home, Packers at home. All going to be really tough games. Well, they'll probably be underdogs, but that's why they play on Sunday, boys.
Yep.
Okay, so Chargers. We got same over under 9.5.
For me, I think the Chargers will exceed that. They won 11 games last year, and they're predicting them to take a step back. I don't see it. They have addressed their biggest need so far, which was the interior of the offensive line. They brought in Mekhi Becton to be their starting right guard. Brought in a couple other guys to fight over the last two positions, which are center and left guard.
What about nose tackle? Or like your guys' interior line?
Defensive line.
Yeah.
They brought in a couple. They lost a couple guys. They lost Puna Ford, but they brought in a couple of guys on like prove it deals. Yeah, prove it deals, and I feel like that's what they're going to go after in the draft.
Okay.
Yeah, but as it sits right now with the team that we got, I feel like the over. I would take the over. Like I said, we've gotten better in the skill position because I mean Mike Williams isn't something huge like Alex thinks. He's not something huge. He's what'd you call him? He drops a lot of balls, or he doesn't do much offensively. Mike Williams.
Yeah, he sucks.
No, but he's a better player than what we had last year in the X position. We had nobody to go to there. We tried to fill that with a Quentin Johnson, but he's not that type of player. So I think bringing an actual X receiver in will let him do what he does best, is be that flanker. So I feel like we've gotten better in the areas where we needed to get better. Maybe not a huge step, but at least a step in the right direction, and still the draft up to come. What do you guys think? As far as the Chargers goes, 9.5 wins.
Pretty confident in the Chargers for next year too. I think looking at their schedule, home games, obviously division. Colts, definitely winnable. Eagles, that's going to be tough. Washington, same thing. Steelers are always a tough team to beat. And then the Vikings, man, their home schedule is tough.
Yeah. I'm thinking they're going to do the Commanders in Brazil.
You think so?
Yeah, that's just Jaden Daniels versus Herbert, two big names to start off the season on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually Friday, I think.
It's Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah.
Yep, Friday. So, yeah, that could make sense. And man, that's a really tough schedule.
It is.
Now I'm starting to think about it.
That's why for me, like, and I'm not saying this is like, obviously I don't like the Chargers, but that's why I asked for your interior lineman, because 2 years ago you guys were just getting the ball ran down your guys' throat. Pause.
But no, yeah, I feel like they're going to address that in the draft. I'm not. I am worried about it, but not.
It's pretty early, so
bad,
I would say like at this point you guys are definitely going to be like 9 wins. But I would probably go, you know what, just because right now I want to go over, but I feel like that may change. Because that is going to be a hard schedule for you guys. And you guys, like,
it is.
You guys definitely have more players than Raiders do, but you guys definitely need more players, especially playmakers.
That's the downside of winning so many games last year. Well, at least coming in second place in the division.
Yeah.
That means you get to play the harder teams. And I mean, we're all thinking the Chiefs are going to be doing the same thing that they've been doing to our teams for the past couple seasons, which is just running over us. But that's not the case.
I don't feel like that's the case anymore.
What's their over under for this upcoming season?
They're 11.5.
We'll get to that. I think that's pretty wild too. But looking at the flip side, the away schedule for the Chargers is relatively easy. You got the Jags, Duval.
Unless they choke again.
Tennessee, obviously, they're picking number one in the draft for a reason. Cowboys, sorry, Junior, they're gonna suck again.
Yep.
Yes.
Then the Giants, and then Miami, which, I mean, who knows what Miami's going to be next year. So those are all pretty winnable games outside of the division, obviously. So I don't know. I mean, they might go,
It's not like when they're at home. It feels like a home stadium.
Right. Exactly.
So they should be able to play just as well on the road as they do at home, or vice versa, because it's not like it's an advantage one way or another.
No, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
It does not make a difference. Yeah, so I think, it's going to be tough, but I'd still say they're going to win 10 games. So that covers our teams, huh? You guys want to get into the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chiefs at 11.5. They have the highest over-under along with the Eagles and
I think I'm
The
gonna.
Ravens and the Bills.
I think I'm gonna end up doing what Alex said earlier. I'm gonna take out a loan and put that shit on under for them.
For real.
Well, that's they got all the same schedules. Those guys, because also they're all first place teams. You know, they're thinking they're going to keep on with their dominance in their own divisions. So, like I said, but I don't think the Chiefs are that team again. They're not going to be that same team. They got real lucky last year, with especially both a game against each the Raiders and the Broncos.
They were 11-0 in one-score games last year. I think that just doesn't happen. So even if they, I don't know, win 7 of those, that's 4 more losses their loss total, you know? So it's
Do you have their schedule or like?
yeah, I'm pulling that up right now, or their opponents. Obviously they're gonna have a pretty tough schedule. Let's see.
Well, the division, you know, but like I said, I don't think it's going to be as easy for them this year. I see a couple losses there already.
For sure. Yeah, definitely within the division. They're not gonna sweep the division. I'd say at the very least they lose 2 division games. You got at home the Colts, Texans. Those should be pretty easy games. Eagles, obviously tough. Commanders, Ravens, and Lions.
I mean, even the Texans, they were a playoff team.
They almost beat them.
They played them pretty tough. So
Yeah.
that's not an easy give me there.
And hopefully Lamar Jackson doesn't choke this time and actually takes that W.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they have a tough schedule there, and then away games. You know, the Jags, Titans, Cowboys, Giants, but Bills. So they have the Bills
Away.
So they've definitely got some tough games on their schedule. So can you find more than 6 losses with that schedule? I think you can.
Yeah, I think so. I'd take the under.
I would too.
And not just because we all hate the Chiefs, but I don't think it's unrealistic for them to keep doing what they did last year.
Yeah, we've been saying that for the last 5 seasons.
No, but last year it was like just fluke wins or just super lucky. I mean, yeah, it's football and you got to
dark magic.
play your way into that luck, but still not.
It's like Taylor Swift magic.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, it was. But yeah, next year I don't know, man. I see either the Broncos or the Chiefs, or I'm sorry, Chargers taking the division. So I don't see the Chiefs winning the division again next year. Again, that could just be my hatred blinding me there.
That's all of us hoping for the worst for them.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Even Edgar's still hoping for injuries over there.
Oh, definitely am. I mean, I was close. I thought Kelsey was over, but I mean, he was done, but still coming back.
Yeah, let's see if there's any other over-unders that are interesting. I think something maybe like in the AFC. Texans are 9.5.
Yeah, like I said, they're a tough team.
Yeah, they kind of had a down year last year, and they still made the playoffs. They were a little disappointing. I expected them to be a little bit better.
Well, the reason why is because they had 2 years ago when Stroud was rookie. They had the easiest schedule because they came in 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Nico Collins was a beast last year, and he missed a couple games. When he went out, they really missed him.
Yeah, it sucks seeing him get hurt.
Yeah, the Chargers had one guy to cover in that playoff game against them, Nico Collins, and they're like, no, let's just let him get everything he wants and cover everybody else.
Who's their other receiver?
He got hurt. He was out for the season.
I was Diggs, but he got
him too. Both of them were out for the season.
That's what I'm saying. I know he got hurt and he was out, but
he was like a second-year guy, and he like
Tank Dell.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, he's
the one that got really
hurt. He got hurt, and I want to say he tore his ACL towards the end of the season.
Tore like everything in his
yeah.
That was nasty.
He's Sean Livingston, that shit.
No, he didn't. Thank God. Ugh, that still haunts my nightmares. Yeah, I mean that's about it. I mean the Patriots are 7.5.
I don't think they get to 7.5.
Dude, so did the Titans last year, and look where they're at now.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of improvements, but in 1 year. It's going to take a while for it all to mesh together.
Dude, they spend way too much money on some of these free agents.
Well, they had to, bro. Like they had so many roster spots to fill, just like the Chargers. They had a lot of, but the good thing about the Chargers, they didn't go and overspend for
Yeah,
guys.
that's what I'm saying. Like, even though like everybody needed players, they didn't drop that much money on certain players that I'm pretty sure they weren't like competing with other teams.
Just with themselves.
Pretty much. So we'll see what Mike Vrabel does if he does his magic.
That's true. They do have a big upgrade at head coach. That is true. Okay, we got over-unders covered. We want to get into our embarrassing moments.
Yeah.
It should be painful for all of us.
Yeah.
Who wants to start?
I can take it.
Okay, let's go.
For me, the most embarrassing, I'm just going to take the most recent. A couple years ago, when the Chargers blew a 27-0 lead to the Jags in the first round of the playoffs. Was that 2023? Dude, I was so confident. I stopped watching like before the half. I'm like, this game is over. I stopped watching.
That's your fault.
Because I was just like,
He jinxed them.
They got this. I maybe I had other things to do, but I just remember I stopped watching. Came back like half an hour into the second half, and I was like, what the you know what I was gonna say. But yeah, I had no idea. Like, I had so many messages of people just talking shit, and it was horrible.
I'm sure I was one of those people too.
Yes, definitely.
Although I didn't have much to talk. Being the Broncos didn't make the playoffs again that year.
But still, that's just, it still haunts me.
I remember I was at the casino when I saw that. I was like, "Hell, damn, the Chargers got it!" And then we were watching a fight, and we come back. We're like, "Wait, what the fuck?" It just completely 180. I was like, did not see that coming.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I mean, I kind of did, but
yeah, I was laughing too. I turned it off.
Yeah,
I thought it was over, and then started seeing the score kind of creep. The Chargers had a +5 turnover differential that game.
Yep.
I guess the Jags.
Yeah.
How much?
Asante Samuel had like 3 picks in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got up 27-0. But then they just couldn't run the ball to run the clock out.
Gave it back.
Yeah, they would just go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and
Mm-hmm.
just they weren't moving the ball whatsoever. And then Brandon Staley's defense turned back into Brandon Staley's defense and gave up 31 points in the second half.
Yeah. At the end of the day, again, it was just the Chargers charging. A cursed franchise. It's always fun in a way.
And I think that's what makes it the worst, because I felt like that's when I believed that.
It took you that long?
Yes. And I was about to say that, like, all this time I was just like, nah, it's the kicker or just a bad throw or somebody's hurt. But this one was just like, I can't not say it wasn't the Chargers charging.
Yep, it's a cursed franchise. No matter how good they are, they're always going to blow it.
Well, hopefully now with Harbaugh, he can turn that around.
Looking back at different things for this episode, went back to 2006, and couldn't remember how that season went down. And the Chargers went 14-2, and lost their divisional playoff game.
Yeah, to either the Patriots or
It was the Patriots.
Yep, it was either the Patriots or the Colts. So they either lost to Peyton Manning or Tom Brady every year. Yep.
Wasn't it 20 or was it? Wait, was that the year where you guys were ranked first in offense and first on defense?
No, that was a couple years later.
Okay, because I remember you guys also like went to the playoffs.
Yep.
Ranked number 1 on offense and number 1 on defense.
But what nobody talks about that year is that they were dead last in special teams. So they were getting the ball super backed up, and when they were kicking off, like, they had the most yards, punt return yards and kick return yards against them. So they were just letting the other team just get optimal field position.
It's crazy what a difference that makes,
Yep.
especially when you have such a good offense and defense.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad that they did. Well, so you turned off the game.
Yeah. Turned off, came back just to get even more mad,
When they
or
finally,
to get mad when they lost the game.
When they finally lost, how did you handle it? What did you do?
I think I just crawled up into a ball and just started crying.
Started doing yard work.
No, I just started drinking. I just started drinking to try to forget.
Started?
Because I had started
Yeah, I was gonna
in
say.
celebration, but I
Oh.
started drinking in pain with
Happy
pain.
beers turned into sad beers.
Yes.
Nothing like that. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it happened to you.
Just another sad day in a long life of a Chargers fan.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Edgar, you want to take over for your most embarrassing moment?
I mean, where should I
you
start?
I was about to say, could you find one to choose from?
I mean, after being a fan for so many years, yeah, like there's so many. Where can I start? But the one that I'll never forget was coming off of a fucking 2-14 record, and we had the number one draft. And here I thought we're like, you know what? We're gonna draft one of the best quarterbacks because it was so much hype coming out for this guy, and everybody was just talking about how he can throw the fucking ball like 100 or 50 yards like off his knee or some shit.
Bro,
And I'm just like,
I don't know if it was 150 yards.
No, not 150 yards, 100 or 50,
Oh,
not
I see.
150.
Okay, I was gonna say he was using the vortex.
So sure enough, like, yeah, so sure enough, like, I just remember we barely got a new coach, and he was like, you know, he was trying to draft somebody else, but Al Davis was like, nope, we're getting this guy.
That was an Al Davis pick.
And sure enough, that pick was Jamarcus Russell, our
Just
number
win,
one.
baby.
Yep, our number one pick. And yeah, I do remember a lot of like watching NFL Network and people talk like hyping him up, saying that he's gonna be a good quarterback, has a good arm, has everything. And I should have known that as soon as like just getting him to practice was like it was trouble like already. He wouldn't sign his rookie contract deal.
Well, he ended up getting 6 years, 61 million with 32 million
Yes.
guaranteed.
And this was before like rookie deals were already set.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is the reason why rookie deals are set now, because Raiders were a team that complained about that. And sure enough, we paid him, and he was too busy living the life. They literally did that one test on him where they sent him home with the video to be, checking checking the team that they're gonna play. It was an empty video. There was nothing on it. He came back, started lying to them, saying that he watched it, and they literally told him to his face, like, "Bro, there's nothing on that video."
Yeah, that's.
It was just.
If you find yourself even thinking like maybe we should do this test with our quarterback, like don't even do the test. You already know that he's not the guy.
Yeah. So.
Or if he shows up looking like an offensive lineman.
Oh, it definitely.
That helps too.
That's why we call him Jamarcus. What was it? Jamarcus Walrus.
Oh,
Cause dude, that fucker was
that.
big. But yeah, like I mean, I was young, stupid, and I was excited. I even went out and got his jersey. I still have it to this day.
Hey, you should burn it.
I can't.
Why?
Just a reminder of my stupidities.
to stay humble.
Yeah, be like, nope. Like this is why you should never rush in getting jerseys, because shit like this happens.
Keep that Jamarcus Russell jersey on deck. Make sure you remember how shitty the Raiders are.
Hey, maybe the Raiders will sign a quarterback last name Russell, and he'll wear the same number. Then you can bring it back out of retirement.
I'm good at this point. I think Raiders they already said that if any quarterback comes out, that they can't wear number 2 because we think it's cursed. The number 2 number is cursed for our quarterback. So
it wasn't a curse. It was just a bad pick.
No, I mean later down the draft, we actually picked up another quarterback with and he also played number 2.
I was looking at that draft too. Let me take another quick look. There's Hall of Famers all over.
Yeah, there's Calvin Johnson was the next pick, which that's what Lane Kiffin wanted to get, but fucking Al Davis was set to his fucking ways. So that's why it bothered me, because we had so many drafts where like we could have just drafted the next person, would have been the perfect pick.
Just the Raider way.
Yeah, for fucking last 20 years.
Yeah. Especially with Al Davis, when Al Davis was in charge, like let me pay all these guys to go out and study all these players, and then just tell
But
them,
in
never
the end,
mind,
yeah, in
I'm
the
gonna
end,
make this
it's
pick.
my choice. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what they say, and it's just. That's why when people tell me, well, I always hear like, "Oh, Mark Davis doesn't know what he's doing. We need Al Davis back." No, he don't. He wasn't like it's not like he was doing any better.
Yeah, he really tailed off there at the end. It happens with old owners that like to be super involved. See what's going on with Jerry Jones now.
Dude, that's exactly what I was thinking
I
in my
was
head.
just
I'm like,
about to say.
I can see it right now with Jerry Jones, but I will say that during the draft, he is letting his, I don't know if it's his son still that's helping him draft. And I mean, they haven't done too bad in the draft, but
Yeah, they've gotten some talent over the last couple of years, that's for sure.
yeah, so I mean, you know,
Looking at the 2007 draft, obviously you said Calvin Johnson. Next pick was Joe Thomas to the Browns, 10-time Pro Bowler,
Yeah.
good career, but
Hall of
just for
Famer.
nothing.
Let's see, Adrian Peterson. Let's see, Patrick Willis, Marshawn Lynch.
They ended up getting Marshawn Lynch later down the
Yeah,
road.
they did. That was the Broncos. Jarvis Moss. Oof, man, that was a bad pick. So they blew that one too. Let's see. Oh, Brady Quinn got drafted that year. That didn't work
By
out
the Browns?
With the Browns, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, man, Darrell Revis too. He was in the first round. So yeah, they passed up on a lot of talent. Greg Olson to go and take Jamarcus Russell. That just makes it that much better.
Well, I know that we
This was
needed.
a great draft.
Yeah.
The reason why is because I knew that we needed a quarterback because we had Aaron
For sure.
Brooks
And obviously
and
it
fucking
wasn't-
Andrew Walters. So
Wasn't a deep quarterback draft.
yeah, it
looking at
wasn't
this.
deep, but still, like I would have done this exactly what Lane Kiffin, grab some talent and just go with whatever quarterback you can in the free agency.
Sometimes you just gotta wait for the right quarterback. Take a couple years for your rebuild. But I mean, like we said, Jamarcus Russell at the time, he was being talked about as like a great quarterback or a great prospect. So they went with it.
He got that
Blew it.
money and wanted to live that lavish lifestyle.
Oh, yeah, he definitely did until he blew it all. But
Well, we could get into to mine and we're gonna keep it recent too. The Broncos have had a lot of embarrassing moments over the last 10 years, missing the playoffs, all of them except for last year. After winning the Super Bowl, we were cursed, and obviously could talk about 70-20 with the Dolphins. That was pretty rough. That was a game where I stopped watching, and just every time I checked my phone, like every 5 minutes, just to see if it was getting worse, it always did. It was such another touchdown somehow. I remember sitting at lunch with my wife and daughter when just every single time I picked up my phone, I just started laughing harder and harder, trying to cope with the pain. So that could be an option. I'm not going to go with that. Another good one, at least for me personally, was when the Broncos lost to the Texans at the end of the 2023 season with Russ. Russ threw that interception in the end zone when they were trying to come back to win that game. That really would have put them in the playoff mix. And Russ threw that interception. And I kicked a hole through my backyard couch that was just almost brand new. That didn't go well. Sorry, wife, for that still. Shout out to Omar for helping me trying to cover that as long as possible.
We almost had it. We almost had it.
I had put a heater trying to cover it, like an outdoor heater. And it was sitting there for a while. And my wife goes, "Why is that heater there? It doesn't serve a purpose there." And I was thinking, yes, it does. But I had to move it. And Omar saw the look on my face and he grabbed a trash can and moved it as soon as I moved the heater. But my wife knew the whole time. She's way smarter than me.
Yeah, we thought we were really slick. Thought we were like the smartest people in the world. Like, we got this. Nobody noticed.
Yeah, it didn't work out. She knew.
oh my God.
So that was pretty embarrassing, at least for me personally. Another personally embarrassing moment, I'm going to stick with this one. We've talked about it on the pod a little bit the last couple episodes. It just keeps ringing in my brain. When the Broncos lost to the Chargers last year in December. Omar and I went to that game, and we were sitting up there, and I was talking all the shit in the stadium when that game was going on. The first couple
Whole first half.
Yeah, the whole first half, I couldn't stop running my mouth. Broncos got off to a great start. First 3 drives,
Yep.
touchdown, just moving the field or moving down the field with ease. No problem scoring on that defense. Bo looked great. And then it just all started to fall apart when Dicker the kicker had that crazy
Free
Magic.
kick. That free kick, that we were just both looking at each other like, what's going on? Like, why are they not lining up on the ball? Like, what's happening here? And then he makes that kick, and I was like, all right, now we're losing by 3 points less.
Yeah, and being at the game, you don't get the help from the announcers who are also trying to figure it out or explain it to the audience. We're just sitting there like, all right, so that shitty play just happened on special teams. It's the end of the half, and now they're lining up for kind of a field goal. The ball's on the ground. Kicker's lining up to kick it. I thought it was just like he's gonna kick it through the end of the back of the end zone and go into half. It went through the uprights, and I was like, all right, who cares? And then they announced that it was 3 points. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That had me grasping to something. Yeah, it got me grasping on something there. I was like, we're hanging on to this. We got this.
Ended up grasping onto a lot. Will Lutz comes out in the third quarter, kicks a field goal, makes it 24-13, and then it just all went to shit. All went to shit.
That
And just
seemed like
back
you
to
guys-
back to back touchdowns.
Seems like they forgot how to play defense.
Yeah. And I can't remember if it was a turnover there or something too.
There was a long run by J.K. Dobbins, I want to say.
Yep.
That sparked everything, at least our offense.
Mm-hmm.
After that, the Broncos had to respect the running game at least a little bit. And that's when our offense opened up a little more.
Yeah, I mean, the offense, looking at the stats from that game, offense had a good game, but not like crazy. Herbert went for 284, which for Herbert, I mean, that's pretty in line for what he usually does. He's a stat merchant. And then Gus Edwards, 68 yards, 2 touchdowns. I remember, yeah. I think I had him on my bench too, which is even insult to injury.
Damn.
Oh, it was Gus Edwards because J.K. was out. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, which is another reason why the Broncos should have won that game. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, no, I don't see any turnovers. Man, that was just, they went 3 and out a couple of times, I remember. They went up 3 out a couple of times, and after talking shit the whole first half, just having to tuck my tail, leave the stadium without saying bye to anybody. I just stormed out.
Yeah, my wife was there with us, and she was wondering if Alex was like just super mad and he didn't want to talk to me more because as much as shit Alex was talking in the first half, I doubled down in the second half.
You had to, man. I would have too. Yep.
And
Yep.
When she asked me that question, if you were mad, I was like, I hope so.
And I was
pissed off that
I
his
was
team
hella
lost.
pissed. I was very upset, especially since the Broncos were supposed to be clinching a playoff game or a playoff spot that game. That was only the third time I've seen the Broncos play live, and I thought I'm finally going to see them clinch a playoff game. And it just a dream turned into a nightmare pretty quick. And then the next day, my brother and I, because we stayed the night down there in LA, we drove on the way back. We stopped at the casino over at the Chumash, check out the new sports bar that they got. And, middle of the day Friday, so there's not a lot of live sports going on. So they're replaying the the night from before, the game from before. So I got to rewatch it in high definition in a giant TV.
Did they at least try to explain it this time, the kick?
I missed that part. So I didn't even get the explanation there. But yeah, got to watch it again and went downstairs and lost a bunch of money playing blackjack.
Damn.
So
Lost twice.
Yeah, it was a very, very cool 24 hours for me. One that I'd love to have back. So, yeah, that was my most recent, incredibly embarrassing moment as a Bronco fan. Hopefully we won't have too many more of those coming anytime soon. So, there we go.
Draft.
Embarrassing moments. Yeah, let's knock out this draft again. What we're going to be doing here is we're all trying to come up with the worst team possible, as if we were trying to get the number 1 pick. We'll do defense this week. Offense. Excuse me. We're going to do offense this week. We'll also go with the head coach to pair with our offense. We're going to do 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. We'll do a snake draft, and we'll see who comes up with the worst team.
All right.
We went over the rules again. It doesn't have to be a whole year starter, but at least an established starter. Again, what we want to try to avoid is someone picking Kendall Hinton as their quarterback, which would be hilarious. But it would make it too easy. Kendall Hinton was the quarterback for the Broncos during the COVID game when all the Broncos were ruled ineligible. So Philip Lindsay was actually the starter. He took the first snap, but Kendall Hinton went out and played the rest of the game. I think he completed 1 pass. Yeah, it was rough.
Damn.
He was a practice squad wide receiver. And then he had to play quarterback. I mean, shout out Kendall Hinton if you're listening. What's up? It takes a lot of guts to be like, yeah, screw it. I'll go play quarterback and get my ass kicked and risk my career.
I mean, if you're a practice squad receiver, you don't really have much of a career. That's probably the highlight of his career is being starting quarterback.
It is for sure. And actually, some of his gear that he was wearing in that game ended up in the Hall of Fame. So
Oh shit.
that's a running joke with Bronco fans. Hall of Famer Kendall Hinton.
Wow.
So yeah, you can't pick him as your quarterback. If you want to pick him, well, no, you can't even pick him as a wide receiver either because he wasn't necessarily a
Got much playing
established
time.
starter. No, he got in there every once in a while and he did okay. But yeah, established starters at all positions. How are we going to determine this draft order? We do rock, paper, scissors, odd man out picks first.
Let's let the loser go first. Third place to
Okay.
first. Third place to second place, I guess.
Okay, that's a good way to do it. So
And we're only doing position players, no linemen.
No.
No linemen.
Third place.
one quarterback, one
Fourth
running back.
place to
Yeah, I was
second
about to say
place.
third
Sorry.
place. I was like looking over
Fourth
here.
Second.
Yeah, we'll do division standings. So yeah,
All right, since we're doing it
nice and
like
easy.
fantasy, I'm gonna go receiver first.
Well, you're just trying to pick the worst team.
Yeah, I know, but like as we kind of did like fantasy type of wise.
The draft order.
Yeah.
Snake draft.
Yeah, no, but no, like you're just trying to pick the worst possible team, as if you were playing in the NFL, or as if you were picking a team to
Lose every
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
every game in the NFL to get the number 1
All
pick.
right.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So I'm gonna go receiver first, and my first receiver that I'm gonna draft is gonna be Darius Hayward-Bay for the Raiders.
Okay.
He
That's
was
pretty solid
drafted
pick.
over Michael Crabtree, and I forgot
Mhm.
what year. But yeah, Darius Hayward-Bay.
Early 2010s. 2014 around there.
Yeah, I recognize the name.
Yeah.
I definitely recognize the name. And I appreciate you going wide receiver because I'm taking the most obvious pick ever. He was the number 1 overall pick. We've already talked about him today. The starting quarterback for my franchise that I want to tank is Jamarcus Russell.
Damn, that was my starter there.
I thought for sure you'd be everyone's first pick.
Yeah, I thought that he was going to go number 1 overall again.
It was just a little too easy.
Well, I got a shitty.
I learned my
Yeah.
lesson. Go receiver.
For me, there's a lot of Raiders players to choose from. A lot of Raiders quarterbacks to choose from. But I will go with the most recent, which is Gardner Minshew. The mustache Minshew.
Okay. You got Minshew at quarterback for your team. All right.
You go again.
And
Snaking back.
Yep, snake draft. For my next pick, I'll go with running back. I mean, he wasn't the worst, but he was the worst at the worst times, which is going to be Melvin Gordon. He was a decent running back. He just coughed up the ball right when you were about to score a touchdown. You're at the goal line, 1 to go, and he's just like, "Nah, here you go. Here's the ball, man." To the other team. Yeah, so those are my first 2 picks.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. That's one I definitely had my eye on. Yeah, so I got to go skill position here. I got a couple of good tight ends I don't think you guys are going to think of, so I'm going to save those. Now, looking back, doing my prep for this little exercise we're doing here, I have to say the Raiders and the Chargers have both been pretty solid at running back the last couple of decades. Now, looking at the Raiders, you had Josh Jacobs, Latavius Murray, who wasn't terrible. he was pretty good with the Broncos with his short stint. Darren McFadden. So looking at the Chargers, obviously the Daniel Tomlinson was there forever. You took Melvin Gordon, which would have been mine for sure, just with his ability to lose a game. So let's go, because I don't want to pick one of my Bronco boys. I'll save that for tight end. There's plenty for tight end with the Broncos. Let's go Justin Vargas, 2007 running back for the Oakland Raiders. Didn't have a terrible year.
No, he was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I probably could have done better than that, but that's what I'm looking at here.
I feel like he exceeded expectations. He wasn't expected to be a starter, but he got up there.
You know who his dad was? What was that old school movie? There's like two cops, Ben Stiller and I forgot the other guy's name, remade it. They're like
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, but the old school one.
Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, but the old school one,
Yeah.
not the one Ben Stiller. Huggy Bear was Justin Vargas' dad.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Shout out Huggy Bear.
Yeah.
All right, Edgar.
Are we doing two receivers or just one?
Two receivers.
Two receivers?
Yeah, you get 2 picks.
I'm going to do Quentin Johnson as my second receiver.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Not bad. Especially with all his struggles he's had catching the ball. Yep.
Okay.
And then for my second pick, I'm going to go ahead and pick, I'm going to go running back. And I can go Zamir White because he had a horrible season this year, but I'm going to go DeAndre Washington. He was a running back that we drafted, I think it was 2019, and we were hoping him to be our third down back, but injuries and fumbles kept him from starting.
Okay. Sticking with a lot of Raiders. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Sticking with a lot of Raiders. Let's go and get a wide receiver. You already took Hayward Bay. That's a good one. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do one that actually played for both the Broncos and the Chargers. I actually love the guy. And when he was a Bronco, he had a really good rookie year. His first game in the NFL, he set a record for rookie receptions, I think, in a game. He had like 18 catches or something. Eddie Royal.
I was actually gonna pick.
Didn't do much with the Chargers.
Yeah, he really fizzled out.
Yeah.
Eddie Royal, if you're listening, sorry, man.
You made the list of the worst.
Yep, the tank team.
He definitely had his years or his games.
Yeah, he wasn't terrible.
So I'm up. I guess I think I'm taking the first tight end, right here. If I take one, I'm gonna go with somebody super recent, Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer,
dang,
from the Raiders. What's he done? Just forgot how to play football. As soon as Brock Bowers came in, he just maybe saw somebody better than him and was like, "Man, I can't compete with him," and just kind of think he left the team and went home for an extended time, and they welcomed him back. But yeah, I see it hard for him to live up to his draft status.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. I think you had some worse options than that, but
I did. But I mean, there's worse options than Quentin Johnson too.
True.
And I feel like Quentin Johnson's had a better first 2 seasons than Michael Mayer.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna jump on the coaching train too. So.
Oh, okay. You're gonna pick the first coach.
Yep. McDaniels. McDaniels, because he was on both your guys' teams.
Yeah. This is like which one, Broncos or Raiders version?
Both. That's why it's both. So that's what I'm going with. I didn't want you guys to steal that one from me. I had that one in mind. I almost went first pick with that because it's so bad.
It's really, really bad. It's insane that he got a second chance with the Raiders. But again, the Raiders do shit like that. So, he's definitely someone I miss as a Bronco fan, being the coach of the Raiders, even though the Broncos never beat him.
I thought you were about to say miss, period. Like, I was
as a coach for the Broncos, yeah.
Yeah, the Broncos never beat the The Raiders with Josh McDaniels as head coach.
Neither did with Vic Fangio, and who else besides that?
Fangio, Vance Joseph. Yeah, we've gone through them. So I'm gonna go with the tight end. This is the one where I'm gonna stick with the Broncos. The Broncos have had a lot of bad tight ends, especially over the last 10 years. So I'm in between two. I think I'm gonna have to go with Alberto Quinegabom.
Yeah,
Started off
I
solid.
already had to spell that last
Just
name.
put Alberto because there's no way I could spell that. Started off solid as a rookie, but then just really tailed off. Broncos ended up dumping him for like a 7th-round swap with the Eagles or something. I don't think he ever made the field or got off the practice squad with them. So, yeah, shout out Alberto if you're listening.
All right. So I'm gonna go quarterback, and I mean both of you guys got pretty good quarterbacks. I mean, not good, but
yeah, we know what you mean.
I'm gonna go Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's definitely
Paxton
a good
Lynch. Didn't get that many playing time, but we kind of figured why.
Yeah, he was a Fortnite boy. Spent a lot of time playing Fortnite.
Damn.
So he decided that was more important than being successful in the NFL. And he sucked.
And for my next pick, I'm gonna go head coach, and I could definitely go plenty of Raiders head coaches, but I'm gonna go Nathaniel Hackett.
Okay, that's a good one. Which is a shame because Nathaniel Hackett, honestly, if I could pick a head coach from the Broncos, Raiders, or Chargers from the last 20 years to sit down and have a beer with us, it would for sure be Nathaniel Hackett.
Really?
He seemed like a cool dude, man. Really feel bad for the way that worked out. You could tell he wanted it to go well, obviously, but man, he was terrible.
Something about like offensive coordinators. If you have a good quarterback, you're gonna get a head coaching job. It's just, even if they only do good because of that quarterback. You know, Mike McCoy. That's what we got Mike McCoy from you guys thinking he was gonna be a good head coach, but he was just the guy standing behind Peyton Manning.
Yeah, Peyton Manning made a lot of careers in the NFL.
Yep.
Mike McCoy was one of them.
Yep. I almost went with Mike McCoy for mine because it was that bad. He just looked like he was just like out of his league when he was a head coach.
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever got even an offensive coordinator job after that.
Yeah, sometimes you fail so hard you just can't go on. But I mean, Nathaniel Hackett, did he survive with the Jets? No shot, right?
I don't think so.
No.
Who knows?
I don't think so. No, he ended up getting fired when
I think somebody else picked him up though.
Maybe he might have gone back to the Packers.
Yeah, there's no way he's an offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
but I know he got let go as soon as they let go of. I mean, they cleared house at the Jets, of course, but I think they might have like let him go like that first year.
Yeah, I don't know where he is. Nathaniel Hackett, if you're listening, shout out you, man. Hope you're doing okay. So let's see. I don't have to go coach because you guys already went with one. I guess we only have a few picks left, huh? I need a wide receiver.
You need a receiver and head coach.
2 wide receivers and I'm done.
2 receivers.
Okay, let's see. This is a good one just because I'm going to have Aqib Talib snatch his chain continuously. I'm going to go with Michael Crabtree.
What? That fool's actually had a good career.
He did, but he's just a bitch, so.
You know who's actually a bitch? Aqib Talib. And I got a story for it. I got a story for that too.
Okay.
That fool. So he was at his nephew's football game, and he ended up getting in. He ended up getting in it with the referee, and he instigated a fight, which made his cousin Keith Talib's pull out a gun and shoot the ref.
Yeah, that word "made" his cousin is doing a lot of work there. I don't think Aqib Talib made his cousin do anything.
No, I said he didn't make him. I know.
Right.
I mean, if I said that, that's not what I said. I mean, that's what I meant.
But I know
he instigated that fight, basically.
And he had just signed on with Amazon to do their Thursday night games.
Is that why they brought in Richard Sherman after?
It all went away after that. I think Aqib Talib's still doing like a podcast or something. I mean, it can't be as successful as ours, but
Nope. We got about 60 viewers. Shout
I
out.
mean,
Fresh.
Shout
haven't
out
heard
10% of it being our family.
I haven't
Fresh
heard
and-
about
Or
it.
I mean
so I don't think
90%.
so.
Sorry, not 10.
yeah,
And shout out our one viewer from Russia. What's up, man?
yeah. Shout out to you, man. I don't know how you found us,
For real.
but keep
But,
listening.
Yeah,
dude.
keep listening, man.
Let's see.
So Michael Cowtree. All right.
Yeah, Michael Crabtree, just because I think he's a bitch. All right, what do you got to fill?
I got
Receivers.
a couple receivers to fill.
Ooh.
One is going to be Tyrell Williams. He had like a year of good playing time with the Chargers and banked in on that with the Raiders.
Yeah.
So, and then after he went with the Raiders, he just disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my next one is going to be, got it, Hunter Renfro. Because the same thing, he had like a year and a half maybe of good
Damn.
play.
He had more than a year. He had like at least 2
he
He
years.
was
took
there for a
he took a
while,
hard
man.
hit and he vanished.
Yeah,
He took that one hard hit and just
Well, he got like 2 concussions
Yeah.
last season.
Mhm.
and after that rookie deal, he just never came back. Nobody's been wanting to sign him. There's rumors that he retired, but he came out and said, "I'm not retired. It's just, I'm ready for
Retired, not
whoever's."
retarded.
But yeah, like I said, they had maybe a year of good playing time, and then they just kind of disappeared. That's why I went with those two.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay. Pretty solid.
I think you guys have some pretty good receivers. Like
I know, man, but we got a really crappy quarterback. So they're not touching the ball anyways. It was almost irrelevant. Let's see. So head coach for me. Do I go anywhere else other than Antonio Pierce?
I knew you, dude. Tell me why I was about to write that shit
You
down.
might as well write it down, right? Let me take a look and
I didn't
see.
even think you were gonna say his name. I thought you were just gonna go Raiders.
Let's see if I could come up with it. I'm not picking a Bronco head coach. We had too many. You picked the worst one. Yep, coming to blank, man. It's got to be Antonio Pierce. He just can't be how shitty he was.
It's your team, bro. So you gotta pick. You gotta pick.
Yeah, Antonio Pierce is the guy. He's gonna go in there and do the whole rah rah.
Hey, he's gonna win you those games that you don't want to. So
Do you want that? Exactly. You don't want that.
No. He got fired before that, right?
No.
He made it to
to the end of the
He
season.
made it
Yeah.
through the year. Damn it. Well,
I mean,
hopefully he's not able to pull that off
McDaniels
with
and
the
Hackett
Broncos.
got fired before.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Hackett didn't even make it through his first year. He's one of 3 coaches that ever happened to. Got fired the day after Christmas. After getting the shit kicked out of him on Christmas Day.
All
Patrick
right.
Starr roasting the Broncos.
All right, for my last pick, I'm gonna go tight end, and I'm going Jared Cook. He had one season with the Chargers, and
But even what about all those years with the Raiders?
Jared Cook,
Wasn't he with the Raiders back in the day?
maybe
It was like a couple of years. He went from there to the Saints, and then to the Chargers for like a year before he retired.
if he did, I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember being on the Raiders, maybe like in the mid 2010s, because he was older when he got to the Chargers. He was like in his mid 30s.
I say mid 40s.
No,
Good
mid
lord.
30s when he got to the Chargers, and that was like his last year.
Well, if you can't remember him, then that must be a pretty good pick because
I
he
don't
wasn't very
remember, to be
memorable.
honest.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not saying I just don't know. Because I do remember a couple. I was gonna pick another tight end for the Raiders, but yeah, Jared Cook was like right there.
Okay. All right. Well, let's run through them. Who
All right, so
Who do we
let's
think?
see.
do we think's getting the number 1 overall pick? I'm surprised I was the only one to pick a Bronco tight end. We've had a lot about them.
I don't really know much of your tight ends. That's why
So who'd be only there for like a year?
Yeah.
We had Greg Dulcich.
that was actually one that I did write down, but I was
Yeah.
like, he's been hurt a lot, so I don't even know.
He was injured a lot, but that's another reason to pick someone.
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
Trying to lose. He's not going to be on the field.
So Alex, you went with Jamarcus Russell, Justin Fargas, Eddie Royal, Michael Crabtree, Alberto. I don't even know his fucking last-
Alberto.
Alberto. And your head coach is an AP. Omar, you went Gardner Minshew, Melvin Gordon, Tyrell Williams, Hunter Renfro, Michael Mayer, and McDaniels. And then I went with Paxton Lynch, DeAndre Washington, Darius Hayward Bay, Quentin Johnson, Jared Cook, and Nathaniel Hackett. Low key, I think I got the worst team.
I think you do too,
Yeah.
man. I think that was a flawless victory. Pairing Nathaniel Hackett up with Paxton Lynch. I mean, like, how the hell are they?
And
gonna
at
move
least
the
you
ball
guys'
down the
running
field?
backs were actually starting. My running back was like, he had some games, but they're like, all right, get the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Edgar won this one. If you're listening and you want to leave a comment on who won, we'll put your 1 or 2 opinions into consideration. But I think Edgar took this one for sure.
Yeah, or if you had any other players that were worse than the ones that we had,
Yeah,
Yeah, if you have any,
feel free.
if we have a
to-
player that we missed, let us know. I know I definitely missed a couple of running backs.
I know more than half of those are going to be Raider players, so especially ones that we drafted in the first round.
Yeah, I tried to spread the love. Spread the love.
Oh, so did I. I got 2 of each team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dang.
I think there was less Chargers than anything on there.
Yeah.
There's less Chargers players,
I think
coaches.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like I said, with the quarterback, obviously you're not going to go with a Charger quarterback. At least not from the last 20 years.
You
with
can go the
Drew
last year with.
Brees.
You can go with the last year of Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, but then you're still picking Philip Rivers. who
Yeah.
had a great career. Who I miss, by the way. When I watched him play, I hated him.
I mean, Melvin Gordon, but I mean, he played for the Broncos and the Chargers.
yeah.
He was bad for both.
And Tyler Williams, Eddie Royal, Quentin Johnson, Jared Cook.
Yeah, we had a few from each team.
Couple.
Yeah, just not head coach.
Had a few from each team. The best pick from the Broncos was for sure Paxton Lynch. He sucked.
We could have gone with Case Keesum.
Case Keesum, he was pretty bad for the Broncos in 1 year. I mean, we did get Joe Flacco in his prime too. Remember when Elway said that he was just entering his prime? He definitely was not.
Nope.
He went back and won like 3 more playoff games after that.
Yeah, apparently he was
Yeah.
entering his prime like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
he doesn't play more than half the season. He sits around and waits for somebody to call him and comes and wins a playoff game.
living the life, man. Well, fellas, I think that's the hour mark.
Just about.
I think we successfully did episode 3 here.
Nice.
So we'll get this going in a couple of days. We got the first 2 episodes up on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check those out. When this one drops, check that one out. We're going to keep this going. We'll come back next week. We have come up with an agenda. We'll figure out what we're going to do. We'll probably
Yeah.
draft the defense.
Yeah.
Oh, we can
Get
definitely
back
do
to
the
it.
defense.
We'll draft the defense. Maybe we'll have to come up with some more head coaches to throw in there too.
There's plenty of those when it comes to the Raiders. They get a new one every other year, or
And they're
if they're lucky.
we're still paying all of them.
Yep.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
We'll see.
Unless we
Carroll's not
fucking
gonna be
Lego
alive forever,
Miracle.
man.
No, I mean that's why they signed him to a 3-year deal because you never know.
Right. We're gonna have to be back on that carousel soon. Well, what do you think, boys? That it?
I think
About
so.
it.
All right. Well, again, Jerry Judy, if you're listening, you're a bitch. And we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Cheers.